Hey, everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, December the 27th. Now, next Sunday, on January the 2nd, is a new moon. There's a new moon every 4 weeks. The new moon will be in Capricorn. Wherever the new moon is impacting your chart, that's where your priorities and your attention will be drawn to. But I say this every month. The week before the new moon, which is this coming week, it is a winding down and wrapping up of what was being triggered 3 weeks ago. This is a time of kind of coming to understanding. You might have already resolved a lot of things from the full moon to that third week, so all last week. And then the last week before the new moon may just be a time of a holding pattern, is waiting for something else to come in. But for many times, it's about bringing closure and understanding from the previous new moon 3 weeks ago. Also, Venus is still retrograde until January the 29th. The retrograde is a time of redoing, revising, reevaluating all matters of Venus. Venus is the planet of relationships. Venus is a planet that rules money. It rules beauty. And so with the Venus in retrograde, you may be reevaluating your wardrobe, how you look. But the retrograde, it's not the time to act. You may be reevaluating your income and trying to figure out how to increase it. Better to take action in February. And finally, relationships. This is either when you're starting to realize you have to start working on a relationship to strengthen it, or how to bring closure and understanding to it. So that's just the whole themes of Venus in retrograde. But let's start with Monday, December the 27th. The moon that sets the public tone is going to be in Libra. Libra is the sign ruled by Venus. Libra wants fairness, compromise, peace. It's a very sociable time. Tuesday, the moon is in Libra. From about 6 to 8 a.m., when most people are sleeping on the West Coast, but around 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific time, the moon will be in tension with compulsive Pluto. There might be some emotional power struggles, or you might be feeling really churned up about your feelings. The moon will leave Libra, move into Scorpio at 1:17 p.m. Pacific time. Libra wants fairness and compromise with everybody, wants harmony with everybody. But when the moon goes into Scorpio, there's tending to be more private, more introspective, going deep within yourself. But also on Tuesday, expansive Jupiter is moving into Pisces. Once every 12 years, it will occur at 8:07 p.m. Pacific time. Now, I've already talked about how Jupiter gave us a preview in Pisces from mid-May through July 2021. But here it's again until the middle of May 2022. So what was the promises and the hopes and the opportunities of back in May, June, and July? Now Jupiter going back into Pisces is when the rewards, the gifts, the opportunities can start presenting itself. Wednesday, the moon will be in tension with Saturn and Uranus, 8 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. That could be an emotional, uncomfortable, stressful time. But overall, it might be because you're trying to get some work projects initiated. because Mars, assertive, ambitious Mars, will be in harmony with stabilizing, pragmatic Saturn. This can bring, be very supportive to being able to accomplish a great deal of your work tasks. But early by the late morning Pacific time, you might be starting and stopping and stressing and anxious until you get into the rhythm, and then you can accomplish your goals. Thursday, the Mercury, communication Mercury, is going to be aligning with Pluto, which happens once a year because Mercury is a yearly cycle. In the positive, our mind's Mercury could be much more interested in Pluto energies of psychology, astrology, the occult. On another level, as Pluto rules the underworld, this Mercury of the mind can be really favorable for studying, for researching. Now, the moon had been in Scorpio, but it's going to go void of course on Thursday at 9:11 a.m. Pacific time until 3:09 p.m. Pacific time. The void, of course, as I mention every week, it's a little bit like a mini Mercury in retrograde. You don't want to make any important decisions. You don't want to launch any major new projects. This is, with the moon void, of course, what we like to say is just stay the course. Stick with what you've been doing. Do not bring in anything new because it's not enough energy to really accomplish anything new. But at 3:09 p.m. Pacific time, the moon goes into Sagittarius. When the moon was in Scorpio, it's more internalized energy. But when it goes into Sagittarius, it's more expansive, external, friendly energies. And as soon as the moon goes into Sagittarius, that after 3:09 p.m. Pacific time, it's going to be triggering expansive Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. So your thoughts may be intense, conversations may be profound. But after the moon goes into Sagittarius and immediately clicking on Jupiter, you're going to feel more hopeful, more outgoing. Friday is New Year's Eve, December 31st. And the moon continues in outgoing, friendly Sagittarius, a perfect sign to celebrate the new year. But around noon to 2 p.m. Pacific time, the moon will cross over Mars. The downside might be some impatient irritability, ego disputes. But because it's also New Year's Eve, that moon Mars, emotionally, you might start getting really excited, got a lot of activities and busyness to get ready before you go off and celebrate, however you do it, at midnight. Saturday, January the 1st, and the new year energy is starting to come in. What's interesting is the moon, 12:17 a.m. Pacific time, right after New Year's begins on the Pacific coast. The moon goes void, of course, until 3:03 p.m., practically the entire day. Well, what that tells me is a lot of people are going to be hungover or up late at night and exhausted, sleeping in, being very tired. But Sagittarius looks to the future. But being void, of course, this could be also very favorable, especially if you're like tired, is to, instead of making plans for the new year, is reflecting on the old year. At 3:03 p.m. Pacific time, the moon goes into Capricorn, productive, goal-oriented Capricorn, and will immediately be favorable with expansive, optimistic Jupiter. So later in the day, as you are waking up, as you're getting over your hangover, as you're starting to become more activated. That Capricorn is productive, the moon in Capricorn, but with the Jupiter feeling really hopeful about making plans. Plus, the sun will be in harmony with innovative Uranus. So that is really favorable for being excited about reinventing your life, being open to some new opportunities, some new directions, which takes us into the new moon on the 2nd in Capricorn, where now is the time to start thinking about what you want and your plans for at least January. And that new moon's in harmony with Uranus. This is really favorable energy to shake things up, try new things. So before I sign off, I want to remind you I'm available for a one-question offer for a nominal fee. To request it, go to the homepage of astrologyanswers.com, click on the link Advisors, scroll down till you find my name, and follow the instructions. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, Happy New Year.